What's going on, everybody? This is Joe.
And Amy.
And we are back with another Strixhaven School of Mages pre-release pack opening, specifically Prismari again. So if you missed, we have been doing a bunch of these. We have done 6 so far. This is our 7th. So feel free to check the iCard in the top corner over there, and you will be able to see the playlist where we've done all of these. And definitely make sure that you stay tuned. If, for whatever reason, you are here for the code for MTG Arena, but you do not get it, don't forget, if you are subscribed and have that bell rung, you will get notifications whenever any of our videos come out, and you will not miss the openings in the future, as well as when we go live every Monday and Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live here on the channel. Mondays we play MTG Arena, and the day that this video comes out, we are going to be doing some of the Arena Cube that has come out recently, or come back recently. We have another one of these Prismari inserts.
It's so cool.
Yeah, this one looks the best. Yeah, I think I like this one the most out of all 5 of them, but
it does look really cool.
Yeah, we'll talk about them all collectively in the last Lorehold opening. There's also the D20. I should probably not hold it like a mile away from the camera. Come on, camera. There we go. See? It's a really cool one. I like this one a lot. As Amy, you correctly pointed out, it's a little purple, but yeah. Otherwise it's fine. I guess we can do our promo in a moment, but we have the packs, including the seeded pack. We'll leave those on the side. And then our promo, I will take out of the packaging just so that there's no funny business. Hey, look, a code for MTG Arena. Like I said, we'll be giving that away at some random point in the video, but not yet, because for now, we want to show you our promo foil rare is the Conspiracy Theorist. I don't love this card. I guess it's fine. I think we've had like one opponent use it to like meddling effect against us. And the foiling pattern is kind of just okay. Like his eyes, of course, look cool, but that's kind of it.
I love the foiling on this.
You do?
Yeah. Just like basically just the background and his eyes.
Yeah.
It's kind of sick.
All right, fair enough. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about this particular card. It works for Lorehold really well, but it sure is in this Prismari kit, so there's that. And obviously, like I said, with the code, which is upside down, we will give that away at some point in the video, so stay tuned for that. If you're unaware of how we like to do openings on this channel, I usually try to talk about all the different cards, and then we talk about what kind of a deck I think we should make. But I would love opinions from all of you as well. If you agree, if you disagree, why will this not open? Oh my goodness. It's embarrassing.
I thought you were saying if you agree, if you disagree, why? Like tell us why you disagree.
Well, that too, sure. If you disagree, how could you possibly? And by that I mean we've discussed many times on this channel my deck building skills or lack thereof. So yeah, you're more than welcome to disagree. So if you're unfamiliar, a seeded pack is a pack that would only be able to, the cards would be able to be played in a deck that is playing red and or blue. So here is a Prismari Pledge Mage to start.
That's a good card.
It is. Again, especially for Prismari, very, very good. We have a Prismari Campus. I would absolutely, usually, at least in draft, I usually am happy with playing like 2 of these, and of any of the campuses. But more than 2 feels like a little much. But to be fair, I guess if I opened 3, I'd still at least consider it, right? But here's a Prismari Campus. An elemental summoning for a lesson, which is good because this just stays in the sideboard, and if you have learn cards, this is a good reason to put some learn cards in your deck, even if they're like slightly suboptimal, because they would be able to get you this and have some benefit on top of it.
Sully.
It's Sully, yeah. Yeah. Twin Scroll Shaman, I don't love this card as much, I'll be honest. There's just, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong and dumb, but I feel like there's not a lot of like combat tricks in this set enough to make this thing that good. If we see some, I would definitely go ahead and put this in there. But like on its own, I don't love it. I won't lie. Sudden Breakthrough is a good one for Prismari as long as we get some of the big cards, like the high-costed cards for Prismari, because it lets you give something +2/+0 in first strike, which is nice to win a combat, but then you also get to make a treasure, which feels good.
I love the art on that one.
Very good.
Like the brightness of the... I would say flame, but it's really more of a smoke, even though it is on fire.
Because it's like lit up like that with the magic,
Yeah, but it's very sort of billowy, like smoke would be. But the way that it lights her face is so cool.
Yeah, really, really well done. I agree. We have a Pigment Storm. I know you like this card as well.
Yeah, I do.
It's very good.
It's a fun art, in my opinion. Like, it just reminds me, I know it's a bit off kilter here, but it reminds me of when it's a beautiful day and you're outside, and then all of a sudden it starts to pour, and you watch the people around you start freaking out, like trying to cover their heads and stuff. Yeah. And you at the moment just don't care about the fact that it's raining. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of like laughing at these people almost, because you're out in the rain now and you're watching them scramble around trying to keep like their hairstyle, you know, in check or whatever.
By the way, I forgot to show the insert, if people haven't seen it before, like in our last opening. This is the divider that comes in the kit as well, with the Prismari logo on it. It can go between your like deck and your sideboard, or whatever you happen to put in the box after the fact, after pre-release is over. Piece of the cardboard got on the playmat. Anyway, Pigment Storm behind it. We have Ogyar Battleseer. Also a very fun card. I like this a lot. The fact that it's a 3/4 body, even if you can't like attack with it the turn you play it, even though it's 5 mana, it's still really good to like keep back as a blocker and then scry with at the end of your opponent's turn every turn that you can. And then obviously being able to attack with it as a 3-powered creature is really nice as well. So I really like that. Enthusiastic Study. So here's the like middling learn card, right? I mean, it's a fine combat trick, I guess. It gives trample, but it doesn't give a lot of toughness. So like if your creature's getting blocked anyway, it's probably dying, but you do get to learn. And so if this is your only learn option, I guess we'll see as we open more cards and stuff. But this would be a fine way to like trade with one of their creatures and then have a 4/4 as backup later because you got an elemental summoning lesson out of your sideboard. Yeah. So. Plus, that's a big old book.
Yeah, it's adorable. It reminds me of The Borrowers.
Okay.
Because it's like, how big that book is just makes this girl look so tiny.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, if there weren't other students behind her, you would think that might have been what happened. Right. Yeah. No, that's funny.
And maybe she had gotten shrunk.
Yeah.
And then they needed to, like, find the spell to de-shrink her.
Yeah. We have a Barag Befuddler. This card's fine. Like, it's not great, and it's most of the time, if I draft it, I feel like it gets cut a lot compared to other things. Yep. But with this being sealed and like having there be so many different color combinations, if we don't end up wanting to splash, this may very well make it in. So we have a Symmetry Sage as our first uncommon.
Love this art so much.
It's very, very good.
It's so cool.
She's awesome. Yeah. And the card is fine. Like there are games where this card does nothing, and there are games where this card does everything. so yeah, I'm happy enough with this card that I would almost certainly put it in. It's a good uncommon, and it works well in Prismari. Yeah. We have a Prismari Apprentice.
Sick.
Yeah,
love
very
this
good
art. It's so gorgeous.
Yes, I love the dichotomy of the blue and the red, and etc. I love
the background is like purple.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and I love the ability as well. I think the ability is great. Just the fact that like early on it's unblockable, and then later it's unblockable and it's bigger. So it's like almost better than Vortex Runner in that regard in the late game if you've had this around long enough. If you draw this late game, right, like it's like the last 5 turns and you draw this, you're like, well, okay. Like it's a 2/2 and then maybe it's an unblockable 2/2 or an unblockable 3/3 next turn, which is fine. But if you can get this thing up and up and up over the course of many turns, it feels very good. So, and then we have the Mentor's Guidance. So a lot of these things that we've been seeing are clerics, druids, shamans, warlocks, or wizards. And so this is...
all the best people.
So this is almost always getting duplicated, right? And so because of that, you're going to have the ability to have this trigger twice, or go off twice, which triggers Magecraft twice. If you have any cards that say Storm on them, that's 2 more for 3 mana. Like, it's just everything that you want and the kitchen sink. So really, really good. And so our rare or mythic in this seeded pack is... Oh, whoa. Yes, it is. Yes. What a seeded pack. I love it. It is Galazeth Prismari. I have not opened one of these yet, even online, I think. I don't think I've seen one of these yet. From any opponent, from us, nothing.
Wow.
Oh, and he makes all your, or they, make all of your treasures. Instead of having to tap and sack them to make mana, you can just tap your treasures to make mana. Artifacts you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color.
Wow.
You can spend it only to cast instants or sorceries, but still, gorgeous art as well. I'm sure you're going to talk about that.
I love this sort of swirliness of the sort of air currents that are created here.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome. It's a 4-mana 3/4 flyer that comes with an extra land, essentially. Because it comes with a treasure, but while this is out, your treasures tap for mana, so they're lands.
Uh-huh.
Amazing.
Okay.
Wow. Do you want to look at this after I've taken it away?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured.
It's so cool.
All right, so we have a treasure, which is important, and on the other side of that treasure is an elemental token, so definitely a good token for this deck. And then we have a spirit, which on the other side is an elemental, because the spirit you can make with Lorehold cards, or like the spirit summoning, you can cast for 1 red, so it could actually be used in this deck as well, which is why they give it to you. They notably did not give us a fractal token, even though fractal summoning can be cast for X blue. So that's the only one that loses out because of the treasure needing to be included in here, because this deck cares about treasures as well. And then there is a stand-in card for the modal double-faced cards. Okay, we are on to our first random pack. So we will see what we can get out of here for a Prismari deck. Obviously, as I mentioned, we could get Lorehold cards, we could get Quandrick's cards, aka white and or green, but if we don't have to splash, that's probably better, especially if we don't get enough fixing. So it's something I'll keep an eye out for, but it's nothing that I'm going to be, like, rooting for, let's say.
Can I just say that from this distance, that foil from
the conspiracy theorist?
Yeah. From the beginning. It's like, it's so reflective.
Yeah, I think it's because, like, it's got to be the angle of the sun coming through the window. Yeah.
But it's just like, it's because the whole background is Halo. I mean, it's
hollow.
Halo. The whole background is hollow, so it's just like, it's very eye-catching from a distance.
Yeah. I will say about this Biblioplex Assistant, it's the first card and it's a common, and I'm still going to talk a bit about it. This card is fine if we have big Prismari spells, which we haven't opened any yet, by the way. But if we get any, then this card is fine. I think that the 1/5 Lorehold card is better. The, like, Spirit Dwarf or whatever it's called. I forget the name of it, but if we come across it, I'll point it out. Because it can sack itself to bring one of your spells from your graveyard back to your hand instead of on top of your library. But if we don't get that, I would consider putting this Biblioplex Assistant in, because in a Prismari deck, you want to cast those big spells as many times as you can. Plus the fact that you could, if you needed to, discard those big spells early to make treasures, which you can then use to cast those spells later. And then, as we've noted, especially with Galazeth Prismari, those treasures could just be lands. So, Very nice, but here's a Biblioplex Assistant. We have an Infuse with Vitality, which is cool, but not for this deck. We have a Relic Sloth, which again, this is...
cool for any deck.
Don't get started. Our last one of these, we already had to say we would probably play Witherbloom instead of Prismari. This deck, we're playing Prismari. We opened Galazeth, for God's sake.
Yes.
Relic Sloth is a fine card. I don't know. I would probably not splash this, even if we splashed white, although it is kind of on the more expensive side, so it would give you more of an opportunity to get your splash colors in first. But still, I don't think it's that sick of a card where it's like, we need this 5-mana 4/4 Vigilance Menace. But yeah, if we needed it, I'd put it in. But I can't see it. We have a Lorehold Campus as well, which would help us splash, because it's still a campus. It can still be used to scry, and it adds the red or white. So it's... it would probably get in if we had anything in white that we felt was important enough to put in the deck. Or part white. We have a Charge Through. Very bright green, this card.
Yes. I love this one.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, the reflectiveness of the gold structure.
Yes, sure.
So cool.
Sure.
Especially sort of right next to the sort of trails of... green light,
sure.
basically.
Sure. Okay. We have a Hunt for Specimens with your girl Dina.
Yeah.
We have a Defend the Campus. We have a Waterfall Aerialist.
This one is...
This art is dark as hell.
I was just going to say, this
Wow.
one is so dark in real life, whereas it's so much brighter on Arena.
Yeah, especially up in like this region here specifically, this top left-hand corner.
And I feel like we've had the opposite issue. Or no, I guess a lot of the ones in this, there was like a lot more purple.
It depends on the colors,
and it looked gray on
Sure.
Arena.
Yeah.
I think is what it was.
Yeah, but regardless, this is a very good card, and I would almost certainly play... I mean, maybe if I had like 3 of these, I wouldn't play a third one, but like I would play a bunch of these Waterfall Aerialists. I like them a lot. Another sudden breakthrough. I don't know how I feel about 2, but we do have Galazeth Prismari, which likes having treasure, so I would do that. Ah, nice. And Environmental Sciences. Solid lesson, super helpful, especially usually especially in Quandricks, where you want to have a bunch of land. But to be fair, we were talking about wanting land in this deck as well, if we get any big spells. And I'm going to keep saying that until we get some. It's Quintorious. If we're splashing white, this works, but I don't think this makes us want to automatically, only because we would need some things to... have cards leaving our graveyard, and we don't really have that stuff yet, because that's a lot more lore holdy. There could be like mono red cards that do it for us, but not very likely. And this gives it buffs our spirits, but we don't have a ton of ways of making spirits yet in mono red either. We have Eye Twitch, which is a good card, but not for this deck. And
Just love the art on that.
yeah, it's crazy. And again, just a very good card.
Yeah.
And Start from Scratch. I don't love this lesson, but it's a lesson. It's going to stay in the sideboard regardless, and if there comes a time where an opponent has an artifact and we have occasion to get a lesson, I'll get this card. But otherwise, it will be, so far, it'll be just the Elemental.
But I feel like lessons are pretty good. Even the bad ones are good.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you don't have a million of them, which means you can't have cards in your deck. Don't forget, you can put lessons in your deck if you need a free slot, right?
Yeah.
Or you need to take up a slot. But yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly, because it's not a slot in your deck.
Right.
And you have the varying options of you don't even have to take this lesson. If this is the only lesson in your sideboard and you have a learn card, you can still discard to draw as well.
Right.
So,
it's very catery.
Yes.
Yeah. It allows you to do whatever it is you need to do at any given moment.
Yeah. So that's Start from Scratch. And so our next rare or mythic.
And I love that ice, too.
Is it ice?
Picture. Is it?
I don't think so. Because it's an artifact, right? She's destroying an artifact.
Oh, okay. So it's just breaking.
Yeah.
It's so cool looking, though.
Yeah. It's probably just a statue or something.
Either way.
Exactly. All right.
Sick.
And so Our rare or mythic is... a Radiant Scroll Wielder. Look, instant and sorcery spells we control have lifelink. Like, we don't have burn spells yet, but if we do, we could probably put this and Quintorious in with that that Lorehold campus as well.
You could.
This is very good. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile an instant or a sorcery at random from your graveyard. You can cast it and then exile it. Like, this is a very, very good card. I really like this one a lot.
Well, hopefully we come up with some really good Prismari cards that
Agreed.
Make you decide you don't want to put this in.
Well, hopefully we get some spells in general that would be good for this or would just be good in the deck on their own.
Right.
And our Mystical Archive card is a Cultivate.
Ooh.
Cool art.
Really cool.
I mean, if we were going Quandricks at all, we could put this in, but I don't see it. Especially if this is our splash color, you don't really want something that's ramping you or helping fix or whatever you want to call it. It's not really going to work out that way. And then behind it, just a replacement card for the modal double face cards. Again, just with a different art than before. Hey, guess what? It's a code for MTG Arena. We give these away. In fact, we're going to give, by the end of this, 9 away over the course of all of these openings over the many weeks that we're going to be doing them, because we keep the 10th one for ourselves. But also because we really enjoy the fact that you are all here watching our stuff, and we really do appreciate it. We are trying to do this as a way to say thank you. We don't do a ton of like giveaways and like bribing you to watch our channel. If you watch it and you like our stuff, this is our way of saying thank you, because I open all these kits, or we open all these kits, and this is something a little bit extra. It's just something else that we decided to do to say thanks. So just as a reminder, with this code, you can only use one code per Strixhaven pre-release pack on MTG Arena, or I should say per account on MTG Arena. So if you have already used a code from a Strixhaven pre-release pack on Arena, don't waste your time. This one will not work for you. And again, like I mentioned, if you missed it, don't forget, subscribe and ring that bell. And if this code does work for you, why don't you go ahead and shout it out in the comments so that we know and can congratulate you, and your fellow viewers can know to also not waste their time trying. But best of luck to each and every one of you. Thank you all so very much for watching.
Yes.
Obviously, we're not done yet. We've got a Quintorious pack next. We've opened Quintorious already today in this kit. And like Amy said, maybe we won't have to play him. Hopefully we won't have to play him. We shall see. We start with a Quandrick's Pledge Mage, which can be played for double blue, and probably would, because it gets +1/+1 counters on it for Magecraft. So yeah, please.
Yeah, I feel like every Pledge Mage in this set is good.
Yeah, agreed.
And that art is friggin' sick.
It's really
I love
cool.
Merfolk art. It's just like one of my favorite things.
And it's a Merfolk Druid.
Yeah, so awesome.
Which is your bag 100%. A Make Your Mark fine card. I would likely put this in. It is red or white, so if we're splashing white, it gets better, because Quintorious can buff the spirit that this makes. But it's a spell for a single red, instant speed. If one of our creatures is going to die, yeah, this is a good one. We have a Stonebound Mentor. Stop giving us all these Lorehold cards. This is a fine card. Even if we're splashing, I probably would not put this in, despite the fact that I enjoy it. It's a 3/3 for 3, and occasionally we get to scry 1, so it's not crazy. Whoops, we have another charge through. Actually, that's fine. We can move past that quickly enough. We have an Arrogant Poet. Not good for this deck, but fine. Another Defend the Campus. Reject. I would put this in if I had to, but the fact that it is specific to creature or planeswalker is a little bit rougher. In Sealed, it's probably a little bit better than Draft, although this is a Magecraft heavy set. And so if you're coming up against an opponent that's like dropping big Prismari spells, for example, this card's going to do nothing in your hand and you're going to feel bad about it. So I would be wary of putting this in, but if I needed a 23rd, I would be aware that it exists at least. Another Twin Scroll Shaman, still don't love it, but if I had to, I guess. An Introduction to Prophecy, another good lesson.
Yeah.
I guess it depends, but like early game, I would still pick Environmental Sciences. Late game, I would pick this if we were only going with colorless lessons. Otherwise, late game, it would probably just be the elemental summoning and move on with my life. But Introduction to Prophecy is a very good card. A Mercurial Transformation is a lesson that I do not think is a very good card. The fact that this is a sorcery is why. If this were an instant, I would put this in all the time. But the fact that it's a sorcery and you can make something into a 1/1 or into a 4/4, like, I don't know. I just don't love it as much. There are too many times that, like, I've played a learn card, gotten this lesson, and just it sits in my hand. So I don't love it as much. If you disagree, let me know. But this is our first uncommon in this pack. We have an Expressive Iteration, which is a very good Prismari card.
Yes. And gorgeous art.
I knew you were going to say it, and I was waiting for you to do it so I wouldn't steal your thunder. Yes, gorgeous art.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm super happy to have the card. Like, you just play this before you play a land for your turn so that when one of those top 3 cards is a land, you can set that one aside and play that this turn and you get a free land drop. So,
again, I'll mention this sort of like smearing of the light that you see here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Off of the middle figure.
Right.
Yeah.
We've seen that in a number of these cards, and it creates such a mood that not having that cannot create.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like,
I think so.
It's just, it adds such an element to the art and to what it's actually depicting.
I was going to say, yeah, it works well with what Prismari is or touts itself as being in terms of the magic that's being practiced or the practitioners themselves and what they are proficient in.
Yeah, and these artists are doing an amazing job of, making light look like light.
Yeah.
And that's a tough thing to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just looks like something is lit as opposed to giving off light.
Sure.
You know?
This pack felt very thick to me from the start of this opening, this particular pack.
So do we have an extra?
We're probably going to have at least a foil back here, I think. But anyway, we have Go Blank as our third uncommon. The art is crazy. Really, really crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not for this deck. And so our rare or mythic is... it's a Valentine, Dean of the Vein, or Valentine, Dean of the Vein, which... whenever I had used this card, I did not use it correctly.
Yeah.
And then we played against a Valentine deck and got destroyed.
Yeah, we were like, this card isn't even good. And then when someone played it against us, we were like, oh, crap.
Yep. Yeah, it was real, real good. It's not for this deck at all, but to show you the other side of it is Lysette, Dean of the Root. This card is very warped, I feel like. Interesting. Anyway, Lysette, Dean of the Root, which again, cool
really
card.
great.
Yeah, but not for this deck. So behind Lysette, we have our Mystical Archive card, which is, Jesus. It's Eliminate, but look at how, can you see, I'm like not showing it well to the camera. Anyway, it's like weirdly warped. Anyway, and Eliminate, which again, fine card, just not for this deck. And then our foil is... Ooh.
I don't even see the foiling pattern from this angle, but
God.
I have wanted to see this art in foil since before the cards actually came out.
Look at that. Look at the fire. So good. Wow.
It's incredible.
It really does. This card cannot go in this deck, and I'm upset about it. But I'm super happy we got this card.
It can go in a frame. Let's do that.
Or at least in a good sleeve. Get the sleeve. But yeah, that's sick. Wow, that art.
Tilt it this way, because I feel like...
This way?
Yeah. Oh.
There, kind of like that.
Yeah.
See if we can do that a little bit. Yeah.
It's so cool.
The fact that like the coat or the cloak or whatever it is also super in foil on this. Like the fire and the cloak, look at that. Absolutely incredible. God, it's so cool. Whew. All right, Silver Quill Silencer, thank you.
This is like absolutely one of the arts that I wanted to see in foil.
Yeah, it's very good.
Person.
Very good.
And I am so pleased that we have it now.
Yeah, they did not disappoint, which is great. And then we have an emblem. It's Rowan Scholar of Sparks emblem, or a Rowan Scholar of Sparks emblem, which is really, really nice. I'm gonna.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this one.
No, but they're the rarer tokens, you know? So really nice that we have one of these. I appreciate that. And there it is. Again, I like getting emblems. They're fun. We have a Zimone pack next. No, open better. There we go. Okay. Study up on the story of Strixhaven. Do you mean watch our jar series on our channel? You should definitely do that. What a great idea. Thanks, Pack. Anyway, Moldering Karak. Every Thursday on the channel, by the way. Moldering Karak, a good card, not for us. Eureka Moment, a good card, not for us. Biomathematician, a fine card, not for us. Lash of Malice, a good card, not for us. All unfortunate. Eager First Year, fine card, not for us. Soothsayer Adept, I don't love this one as much, but I think it's a really good blocker for early game. And then late game, if you're drawing a ton of land and you don't need it, even in the Prismari deck, with all the big spells that we've definitely already opened and are going to be playing lots of, because I keep talking about it. This is a good blocker early to get you to the late game, and then once you're in the late game and you don't need those lands anymore, if this is still alive, it allows you to draw, then discard, so that you can get rid of those excess land and have gas in your hand. Illustrious Historian is a fine card. If we are looking for cuts, this would probably be one of the first, but if we're looking for things to add in as a 22nd, 23rd, this could get in. It's a low drop, early, 2/1 that can later die and become a 3/2 spirit, so I would do it. Field Trip is a great card, not for us. Hunt for Specimens. Fractal Summoning, so we did get a Fractal Summoning, so we can add that to our Elemental Summoning, even though they didn't give us a Fractal token in the box. I know, what jerks. It's somewhat irrelevant. We would definitely still have this in the side, and if we had 1,000,000 mana, we could put it into making a Fractal, or if we had like 5 or 6 mana, we would just go ahead and get the Elemental Summoning and move on. So, but there's a Fractal Summoning, and it stays in the sideboard regardless. We got Rutha.
Oh, hell yeah.
Amazing. Rutha is fantastic. Super happy we have her. We have so many great big spells to duplicate too. Don't worry about it. But Rutha is a fantastic card for Prismari and in general if you're in any way splashing either blue or red. But regardless, great card. Happy to have it, as I said. So yeah. Thank you, Rutha. Our second uncommon is Thunderous Orator, which is a fine card. And Reconstruct History, also not a card that I would go out of my way to splash white for, but it's okay.
I don't remember having seen this one at all either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've definitely seen this many times. I'm like somewhat disappointed by it, I won't lie. Just the ability of the card, like the art is fine to me. I think it's cool.
Maybe it just wasn't memorable enough to me.
It's not. I mean, you know, you can return up to one artifact, up to one enchantment, up to one instant, up to one sorcery, and up to one planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. And then you exile it. So like it makes a bunch of things leave your graveyard if you're playing with enough artifacts, enchantments, and planeswalkers to make that effective. And there are times where even if you have like a bunch of instants and a bunch of sorceries, there are going to be times where you only have instants in your graveyard, or you only have sorceries in your graveyard, and then you're paying 4 mana to play a sorcery to get back an instant or a sorcery. And it's like not the best thing in the world, but yeah, so I'm not in love with this card, but there are definitely decks that could use it. It's just not this one. And so our next rare or mythic is another conspiracy I talked about not liking this card. I really don't. I don't love it that much. I guess I'm supposed to play them then? Let me know in the comments. I genuinely want to know. Would people play this card? It's a Shaman, so it works with the Mage, whatever it's called. The one with Kesmina on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, here's Conspiracy Theorist. Like I said, I don't love it. But that means that our Mystical Archive card is a Dark Ritual. It's a rare. The art looks sick.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, really, really sick. It's not for
Can't
this.
play it.
Nope, it's not for this deck. That's for damn sure. And then behind that, a spirit token. Okay, so that's pretty good. We already got one of those in the seeded pack, but
I
you know,
love that art.
on this,
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
That's one of the ones where the colors are so much more vibrant in real life than
Yes.
they are on Arena.
Agreed.
Like the contrast between these bright oranges and these deep, gorgeous royal purples.
Yeah,
Is
really nice.
really awesome. And then you've got this sort of like aged copper green.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very beautiful, complementary color scheme going on. And on Arena, it's just kind of bland.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. We have 2 more packs to go, and I don't know. Like, we have Galazeth, which feels really strong, but if we don't get some stuff to support Galazeth, we're still going to lose. Like, there's just, like, you know, on turn 4 you play a dragon, they use a removal spell on it, and you're like, well, I lost. So, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, another Biblioplex assistant. You know, instead of multiple Biblioplex assistants, I wish I had multiple targets for Biblioplex assistant. Anyway, at least multiple worthwhile targets. Another Relic Sloth. Another Infused with Vitality. A Bayou Groff, also not for our deck. Essence Infusion, not for us. Fun card, I know you love this art. Eager First Year again. Burying Books, there's something. I mean, it's not like, you know, this is what I'm going to get back every time, but hey, it's not a bad card. I like it. It can get cheaper. It's 5 or more for the Prismari Apprentice that, like, gets the +1/+1 counter and can't be blocked when you Magecraft. So there's that.
I like the art.
Yeah, it's
I like
fun.
seeing a bird get defeated.
That is a Mage Hunter and not a bird.
It looks like a bird.
It's one of the Mage Hunters. The big, like, walking black creature with the, like, crazy face and mouth.
Oh, but he's not black
With, like,
at
the
all.
glowy, with, like, the glowy purpley bits on his tendrils.
He's not black at all.
I mean,
I thought this was a beak.
no.
No,
Sorry
I
to
guess
burst your
it's
bubble.
not. He's got teeth.
Yeah.
Well, fine.
Sorry, I guess.
Oh,
Hey, a Tome
well.
Shredder. Tome Shredder's a good card. I would put that in, probably. Another Elemental Summoning. So again, we could leave them both in the side. We could put one in the deck and one in the side. We'll have to see. But a good card. Yes, there's one.
Nice.
Explosive Welcome. Thank you, Pack. I appreciate you. There's a big spell. It deals 5 damage to any target and 3 damage to any other target. So this could win you the game. Casting it twice could almost certainly win you the game. It's just 10 damage to your opponent's face and kill 3 of their X3s or something. Or 2 of their X3s. I don't know why I said 3, because the number 3 was involved a lot. Anyway, good card. If this is our only big spell, I'd be a little annoyed, but it's better than none, and that's what we had before this. So, yeah, a fine card in Explosive Welcome. Very nice.
This art is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I will say, though, it doesn't translate to being small card size.
Yeah,
Quite the way other arts do.
sure.
Because there's so much going on.
Yeah,
When
that's
you
fair.
see this art large
Yeah.
on Arena, it makes such a difference.
I'll agree. Yeah,
Because when you see it big like that, it's like a place and you're there.
yeah.
Whereas this is like a photo that's kind of weird. You know?
Hey, I mean, sometimes when you compress things, right, you miss out on all the detail and stuff.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It's detail and it's just like ambiance.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
It takes away that aspect of feeling like you're actually there.
Right. Yeah. So, but again, happy to have an Explosive Welcome. That's our first uncommon for this pack. Daemogoth Woe Eater, unfortunately for us. I mean, it's a great card, but not for this deck. But it's our second uncommon.
I love it. I mean, it
Yeah.
would eat all my woes.
Yes. I will be kind and we will move on.
Okay.
Hey, a Stonebinder's Familiar. This card is fine. Again, not a reason to splash white. So, yeah.
But it's a cute pup.
It is a cute pup spirit. And then our rare or mythic is a Dramatic Finale. I love this art. I love this card. and we can't play it in this deck. Son of anyway.
It's really cool though.
Yeah, it's a great card. Really, really nice card. Anyway, sorry, dramatic finale. Our Mystical Archive is an Adventurous Impulse.
Yes, I love this art so much.
It's pretty art. It's not great for this deck, but it's pretty art.
I'm happy to have this one though.
Good. I think we have a few of them, but yes, it's very pretty.
Yes.
Hopefully, we're happier to have this foil, which is... Ooh. Well, if we needed to splash green, but hey, it's a foil Quandrick's Campus, which looks nice.
That looks incredible on the camera.
It really does.
Wow.
They're very, very nice. Even that like gem in the middle here, or the like floating cubes or whatever they are in the middle, those stand out very nicely.
Yeah, as we're sitting here looking at it, it looks very green and blue, like you would expect it to, because it's a Quandrick's Campus.
Yeah.
But in the camera, it's like rainbow.
Yep, which is amazing.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Quandrick's is so cool, right, everybody?
No.
Right, everybody? Quandrick's is so cool. Anyway, that's pretty nice. So a foil Quandrick's Campus and another treasure token. See, they gave us a treasure token. They could have given us the fractal token in the seeded pack. Anyway, speaking of Prismari and seeded packs, our last pack is going to be a seeded pack.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
And it's going to have every amazing thing in it that we could possibly need for our amazing Prismari deck.
It's got Rutha on it, first of all. Boo! I love this card so much. Damn you, pack. It's a Rise of Extus. This is a very good card, and I'm upset that I can't have it.
You've got some really decent Silver Quill in this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Kit. You
That's
really
fair.
do.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Silver Quill is pretty decent to begin with.
Silver Quill's pretty good, yeah. We haven't gotten a lot of the, like, good, like, uncommons and commons for Silver Quill, though. I don't think.
Okay.
Like, our rares are sick, right? The
Yeah.
Silencer and the Dramatic Finale, even technically Valentine if you wanted, Dark Ritual. But, yeah, we're missing some of the pieces. Like,
Well, we've got the one with the wings, where the wings are ink.
that's a 2/1 Arrogant Poet. And that
Yeah.
card's fine.
Okay. The, like, quill.
Yeah. An Exhilarating Elocution. Why? Why did you do this to me?
I'm so sorry.
Are you?
I shouldn't have said anything.
Speaking of which...
Yeah, you love this
yes,
card.
I do. And I noted that we hadn't opened one yet. And I was like, we don't have a lot of the pieces for it. God damn it, Amy. Anyway.
Hey, before I said anything about Silver Quill, what did I say? I said we were going to open amazing
We're going to open a
things.
seeded pack, and then we open all Silver Quill cards.
And I was like, it's gonna be exactly what we need for a wonderful Prismari deck.
Well,
I
so
specified that.
far, I haven't seen... Anyway, here is the Professor of Zoomancy. Again, good card, not for our deck. Professor's Warning. I love this card, not for our deck. This is dark as hell.
Yes, very
We've talked about that. This art is so dark. Pillar Drop Rescuer, not even that crazy of a card if we were to try to put white in. A Curate is a fine card, but nothing I'm going to jump up and down about, but it would definitely get in at this point, no question. Dragon's Approach probably doesn't get in. It's the only one we've opened. It wants you to have multiples. It's just, I'm not paying 3 mana to deal 3 damage to each opponent. Like, this is not typically a good card. Mage Duel, on the other hand, very good card, very bright card.
Yeah.
Does not go in this deck. Another Environmental Sciences... Sure. It's a lot of lessons. Yeah. Right? 2 elemental summonings, 2 environmental sciences, 1 intro to prophecy, and 1 fractal summoning so far.
Well, I can say when we draft Strixhaven,
yeah.
I feel like the lessons are the things that we kind of let go by the wayside sometimes because we're focused on a lot of other stuff.
Or we just don't see them. People might take lessons a lot earlier than we do, and so we just don't see them by the time we get to, late in the pack, so.
Yeah, because they're good.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah.
So, hey, if we open a lot of them in sealed, then...
But I'm relatively certain we've seen 1 learn card in red or blue.
Oh.
Right? Like, you still need the other half.
Yeah.
We've seen one learn card, and we have Eye Twitch, but that's a mono black card.
Right.
So, like...
So that's not going to happen.
Nope. Behind that, ooh, very nice.
Ooh.
Our first uncommon is a Maelstrom Muse. Definitely gets in, no question.
Gorgeous art.
Very, very good card.
Wow.
Yes, very awesome art as well. Very Prismari, of course.
Yeah. Well then.
He's standing on his head.
Yeah.
That is very weird. Why? Why do I always open weird crap? Why is it upside down? What happened that this is upside down in this pack? Is the rest of the pack upside down? Yeah. No. Nope, it's not. Okay. So anyway, we have a Quandrick's Cultivator, which is a fine card, not for our deck. Although, you know, splashing green maybe, but no. You don't splash green for this. Yeah. It's not worth it.
Turtley.
He's a turtle and a druid, so Amy and I are in love regardless. And there's your Mage Hunter.
Ha. Yeah, that looks like a completely different creature to me.
Good card, not for our deck. And so our last rare or mythic is Magma Opus. Damn it. Ingenious Mastery, actually, not a bad card. You draw X cards, you draw X cards, so X, 2, and a blue. If you pay just 2 and a blue, then you draw 3 cards, but an opponent makes 2 treasures and scries 2. So basically, you better be paying this for its X cost, because that is a very steep price to pay for drawing 3 cards. It's a fine card. I would definitely include it. I don't think it's like, you know, a game ender, but it's definitely gets in. And then our last Mystical Archive card is... Ooh, very pretty. I think we have one of these already. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we have it on Arena and I just don't remember. But this is a gorgeous piece of art.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Man, it sucks how much of it gets cut off by the text box.
Yeah.
Because what an incredible piece of artwork.
Oh yeah, it's like duoed, right? Or mirrored on the bottom.
There's a whole nother aspect of it underneath that text box that you don't even get to see.
Yeah, feel free to look that up online. That's really, really
so
sweet.
Cool.
Really sweet.
Yeah.
But yes, and it's a mythic. Obviously, it's not for this particular deck. Although, I guess I'll ask, right? Amy mentioned Silver Quill. We have some good black and white in here. What would you do? Would you go... Prismari. I still would probably lean Prismari, if you care what my opinion is. I would probably still lean Prismari. It still feels like I have enough Prismari here to go off of. But with the stuff that we opened in black and white, would you go that way instead? I would love people's thoughts and opinions, and this Tainted Pact is very pretty.
Yes.
And then behind it is another Spirit token, which means we can close out... I'm going to close out with what I hope we would go with, or what I would go with if I were playing this. Again, I haven't, like, counted to make sure that there's, like, a perfectly even number of... I just want to make sure we can see the power and toughness as well. I haven't counted to make sure that, like, there's definitely 23, but as I said, if I had to put 1 or 2 of the elemental summonings in, and then leave the colorless... lessons out for any learn cards that we would put in, I would definitely do that, because Elemental Summoning is an incredible card, and if we're just playing straight Prismari, having 3 red-blue or red-blue, or red-blue and red-blue, like, really, really good and easy to get to 5 mana. So, yeah, I would definitely do that myself, and so that is going to be the end of this particular video.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we got this. We got Rutha.
Yeah.
I got to see that amazing foil.
The foil Silver Quill Silencer, yeah, really, really nice. Yeah, this was a very interesting opening, I'll give you that. So definitely stay tuned to the channel for more openings like this. We do our regular product openings every Monday, but what you should do is make sure that you subscribe and ring that bell, because you never know what might be coming out on this channel. Sometimes we announce it, sometimes we don't, and there is going to be something very special coming up soon.
Yes.
So
stay tuned.
Exactly, and don't forget, we stream every Monday and Friday. If you're Magic fans, we stream MTG Arena every Monday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and every Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern as well, we stream video games. And we have recently been playing through the Dragon Ball Z Budokai franchise. We are on to Budokai Tenkaichi 2, and we've been playing through that pretty consistently for the past many weeks, and we will keep going for the next many weeks until we have beaten that story mode, even if it kills me. But for now, from us here at the Geek for All family of channels, I have been Joe.
And I'm Amy.
Thank you all so very much for watching, and as we always say, in whichever video of ours you watch next, we will see you all next time. Thanks, everybody!